Hello and welcome. My name is Danielle, and today I have a very special guest with us. She is a contributing writer in the upcoming book with Radhaa Publishing House, Stories of the Goddess, Divine Feminine Frequency Keepers. This book is a powerful and inspiring book that celebrates the courage and determination of women who listen to their hearts and follow their inner knowing above all else. Women worldwide have been suppressed for quite some time, and now we are on a quest to forge forward with our sense of embodiment, empowerment with the goddess archetypes, and to help educate women and reclaim their magic and embody that divine feminine frequency and rise above the obstacles that serve as her champions. So, this book is going to showcase various archetypes, and our goal is to harmoniously create a better future for all with love and integrity. So I just want to welcome you, Diana. It's a pleasure to have you, and to make a proper announcement. This is Diana Jyoti.
Jyoti. Yep, you got it.
Oh, I knew I'd get a little. Okay, sorry about that. I sometimes I get tongue tied with names, but just goes to show how human we are. So yeah, I just want to welcome you. It's such a pleasure to link and connect with someone such as yourself during the process of this book. And I'm really excited to be with you today and hear about your chapter. And so we could just go ahead and dive in. And before we get started, could you share with us a little bit about yourself and where it is you're at?
Yeah, so I live in Seattle, Washington. I'm with my fiance and my two beautiful daughters. And I currently work as a hospice nurse full time, and has been my gig for the last 3 years or so. Before that, I worked as a labor and delivery nurse. I worked as a nutritionist. I worked as a school nurse. Through the entire lifespan, I have nursed so many. Besides that, I like to believe I have a life outside of kids and work, and I do. I really love music. I love ecstatic dancing, festivals, anything that allows me to drop into my body and be present fully in the moment. I'm there. So,
That's so
yeah.
beautiful because it's such a perfect, I guess you would say, divine feminine archetype right then in your own right, because it's so connected to creativity and your divine feminine nurturing side, but also, you know, the element of it's like the earth. I'm sorry, it's like the mother, maiden, and crone. You're just so beautifully intertwined and weaved in.
Oh,
I see.
thank you, Danielle. Yeah, as you were introducing the book right now, I just couldn't help but feel into the frequency of it. Man, it's just I got goosebumps because this book is just going to be so high vibrational, and even just the introduction of it was so high vibrational, and I'm so excited to get this out into the world and have this be a point of empowerment for so many others who choose to take access or to access it. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I truly believe that whoever does fall upon this book, whether it be now or in 10 years, there is going to be a frequency, like you said. And when you open that up and you read into it, it's going to definitely help percolate into that person's energy field. So I'm really excited to read your
Yeah.
chapter and hear more about what it is that you wrote about. So before we get into that,
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious what inspired you to contribute to the stories of the Goddess book, and how did you choose your topic specifically for your?
Yeah. Good question. So I had a friend reach out to me, and she had heard about Radha Publishing Company and how wonderful it was. And she said, I think you have a story to tell, Diana. I think you really need to share your stories. And I just got an immediate yes. It was a light bulb, like, absolutely, I do. Don't we all? I mean, we all have stories to share. It just happened to be that, this book was all about the goddess. And I mean, have embraced the goddess in so many different ways in my life, so many of them, the archetypes of them. And the first thing that crossed my mind was I have to write about my abortion experience. Um, it's such a hot topic right now, especially with the overturning of Roe versus Wade and so many of the um, policies that are coming
Mhm.
down the pipeline in other states right now. Um, there's such a limited perspective that people have on this issue, whether it's, pro-choice or pro-life. And I really wanted people to hear my story so that they can consider an entirely different perspective on abortion. I don't think a story that's been shared openly by many women. And yet I know other women have had similar situations because I've tapped into those women. I mean, I've actually posted some things about this experience online, and women have shared that yes, they've had similar affirmations that about the experience of it. And what I'm proposing out into the world through my direct divine experience is that the process of abortion doesn't have to be all grief stricken and limiting, that there is a potential and a possibility that it can bring growth, transformation, and light into women's lives, because that's what it did for me. And in many ways, it was a wake up call. And it really honed in, for me, the concept that we are not finite beings in this one limited life, that we have infinite lives of reincarnation. And whether people believe that religiously or not, it doesn't matter. This is my experience of it. We come into this life and then we exit, but that's not it. We go on. And so I actually had the opportunity to commune with this being of consciousness that came to me and shared that it's all okay. It's all okay. It's our human limited perspective on it that's like we have to try and control life and death. But when we actually let go and we surrender to what's in the highest good, the highest divine good, we actually find that we can drop into the mystery of life and death. And within that is when we can really connect in with the divine. I mean, the divine is all around, but we have to be able to willing to let go of control and drop into the mystery and connect from a deeper place. So yeah.
Wow, that's really deep and profound, and it's almost difficult sometimes to put these things into words. And I really do feel, I get the feeling that you found a way to channel the information through in such a way that a lot of people can not only understand on a logical aspect, but an emotional. It's like bridging the heart and the mind. And I do feel that I like what you touched on with the limited possibilities, because I do resonate with what you're saying. And again, it's neither here nor there what your personal religious beliefs are, but for
Yeah.
us personally, the information that we share, we are kind of aligned to that possibility of multiple timelines and lifetimes. And I feel, and I get this sense from you, tell me if I'm wrong, but that there's this sense of peace that comes with knowing that we're so infinite, that even though it passes the version of whom we are right now, we still come back and we have our soul is always, it's about retrieving, especially on this planet, retrieving your soul back. We can go into different areas on that, but it's essentially it does remind me kind of like of the cycle of life, what I spoke a little bit earlier about. And that's why I feel like you do ground yourself deeply into that. So I just want to take a second to thank you and honor you and show my appreciation for being there for those who are going through those transitional times, because you're like the perfect person to do that. So
thank you. Yeah, thanks. I really hope that maybe 10, if it's just one woman reading this 10 years out from now,
yeah.
and she gets that she gets to have every experience of her life be a choice of empowerment or not, that she can choose that her experience, whether she chooses to abort or not to abort, that she gets to choose to make that, in a choice of empowerment, right? That she feels empowered through the entire choice, and through from the moment of conception all the way down the line, whether she keeps the baby or not. I mean, it's everything. I mean, I worked in labor and delivery, right? And it was all about empowering women to make the choices that they desired through that experience. And it didn't always go the way that they anticipated. But as long as they felt empowered through that process, that's what mattered. That's when they got to shine in their goddess divine essence,
Mm.
to know that they have that strength to carry them through whatever is happening, and we're not always in control of everything that happens in our life, but how we respond is what matters.
Yeah.
And if we're connected in with divine, and we're connected in with the possibilities of communicating with the divine, which I believe we all are,
Yeah.
um, it's a really beautiful way to live. And part of what I'm calling people to in this chapter is to look for the goddess within themselves that wants to shine through and is, the um, embodiment of loving kindness and compassion, and wisdom, because we all have access to that every day of our lives and every moment if we open to the possibility. So
Right. Yeah. I think the key is being centered in a lot of ways, because a lot of outside interference could really just disturb your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And so I like how you touch on that, which kind of leads me to my next question. Could you just share with us a little bit about the role of the divine feminine in creating a better world and how you see that for humanity?
yeah. So in my chapter, I write about the Bodhisattva, and the Bodhisattva came to me in a vision. And I didn't really know what she was at that time. So I had to do some research. But I began, you know, calling in the essence of Tara, who is one of the Bodhisattvas, into my life more to embody that. And my understanding that I've come to through the months of communicating and calling in intentionally the Bodhisattva and Tara is that everything is energy and everything is light. And we are conglomerates of light energy. You and I, any living being is a conglomerate of life force energy. But there's also unseen life force energy. And I believe that the divine goddess, the archetypes that we know them to be, are conglomerates of light as well. And that when we actually call upon that with intention into our lives, that can illuminate our hearts, and that can illuminate our beings, and raise us up to a higher vibration, with greater insight and greater connection to all knowing than we could possibly have when we're alone. And I think that's the beauty of the divine goddess, and using that in our daily lives.
That's so beautiful. I had never heard it expressed in such a way, and I so deeply resonate with that and couldn't agree with you anymore. I mean, that's like, wow. Thank you for sharing in that way, that through that expression, because I do resonate deeply with that. And absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
What do you hope readers will take away from Stories of the Goddess and your chapters?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, that we're all meant to be bodhisattvas on this earth. We are all meant to be these grand beings of light and compassion, if we're open to it.
Mhm.
And we all have access to that. I hope everybody feels empowered to know that it's really simply about intention. Everything really is. Um, and I would say also that it's okay. Everything's okay. Everything's going to be all right. If you're in a hard situation and you need to make a difficult choice, um that you're so unconditionally loved, that there is unconditional love radiating to you and from what we want to call source or God or universal life force energy. um that's accessible, because I felt it in all of my grief and all of the challenge that I went through, with this abortion. It not only did it radiate, from source itself, but from this being who was there to remind me about self-love and self-compassion. I think we're all trying to come home to ourselves,
Mm.
and it really all starts with self-love and self-compassion. So if we can move through challenging times and grief-stricken times with self-love and self-compassion, we're doing the best that we can.
That's
We're
such,
always doing the best we can, you know?
yeah.
So I hope readers take away that more than anything.
Yeah, that's so sweet. That's beautiful. I mean, that almost has a little bit of a Kuan Yin feeling too, because there's a deep compassion for yourself and for others. So I feel like that's so needed. Sometimes I feel we could just be so hard. Kind of like in the beginning, I was
Yeah.
like, we're all human. We all stutter and make little bloops, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to witness people in those moments because you're like, oh, it gives you permission. Okay, it's not just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
not just in
Well,
regards to,
and Danielle, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
oh no, you're fine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at, the thousands of years of patriarchy that we have lived under and how that's been passed down from generation to generation with trauma mixed in with all of it. It's no wonder that so many women and men too carry shame, so much shame,
Mhm.
this need to always, walk the straight line. Otherwise, there's a sense of shame that we feel both internally, but also that others put upon us. And I just want every woman out there to stand up and say no more. Like, I'm not going to accept shame from anybody, including myself, anymore. It's just, it's we need to, we're at this place of awakening where it's time to surpass that frequency and
Yeah,
get over it, because everything, we're meant to be divine beings of love. We are not meant to shame each other. And if you ever, anyone is in a situation where they're being shamed by themselves or another, stop it right there. And, just to stand up against it for your sisters too.
yeah,
Right. And I think that's part of why I wrote this chapter too, because I don't want any woman to ever feel shame for having an abortion. If
yeah,
that is what is truly in the highest good. And I know that every single woman who's ever in that situation of an unwanted pregnancy, um, is not taking it lightly. No woman ever takes that lightly. I've helped women through abortions since, I wrote that chapter, actually. And I sent it out to a couple friends, and they were like, I have people who need you. So I've actually been called to attend with a couple of friends, and it's a very challenging situation that no woman ever would choose for herself. And I never ever want any woman to feel shame about it.
yeah. Well, thank you for being the voice for a lot of the women who have gone through such immense suffering and pain. And I truly hope that your chapter helps bridge, that love that they need for themselves and to support others. So, with that being
Yeah.
said, could you speak on the importance of the community and sisterhood for the goddess's journey?
Oh, yes. So, it's been wonderful. I really have enjoyed meeting on a regular basis so that we can all share and grow and learn from each other. I love that we've all have different tools and practices that we can bring together to share. And it's always lovely when you meet people who are so open-minded and full of light and full of joy in their hearts and willing to put themselves out authentically, even though it's very vulnerable. And so I love the vulnerability of
Mm,
this circle and this group of women who's come together to share, because in vulnerability there's power. So
I agree. It does not showcase a weakness, it showcases your strength. And I do believe in that as well. And I do feel the, the support to be able to show up for yourself also shows a strong sense of leadership. And so you're able to show up for others. And a lot of us, are going through many different things, but at the end of the day, we're humans, we have similar emotions. So despite
mhm.
the story, quote unquote, of what the experience is, that we're still feeling similar feelings. So there might be a perspective, that you could really benefit from. It being that you
Yeah.
only see it from your lens, you're like, oh gosh, I didn't see that. So it's actually really nice to connect with people, even if you don't have a similar experience. If you're having similar emotions, there might be something there. And that's what I love about this dynamic book, because it's a collaborative group of different perspectives, but with the heart and the I do feel there's a lot of energy of the mother, the maiden, the crone. I mean, it's all there. It's
Yeah.
this juicy compiled book of
Yeah.
information. So what do you think that will set the stories of the goddess, divine frequency, divine feminine frequency keepers apart from other books that there might be out there
Mm.
of divine feminine?
I get just the frequency of the content. It's just you're an empath too, and I'm also an empath, and so part of that is that sometimes you can feel into the energy of something before it even arrives. I don't know if you have that experience, but it's like a knowing. It's just a
Yeah.
knowing, right?
Mhm.
And when I tap in, when I think about the book and I feel into the book and I sit in the energy of the book, which we can all do, it's such a high frequency and a high vibration, that it's light. And I hope, I believe that there's so much out there right now that wants to draw us into scarcity mentality and fear, and judgment and righteousness and shame and all of those energies that are so predominant right now on our earth, that we're trying to shift and we're trying to transform. Here's a book that goes there and does that and can help people raise their vibrations. And so I'm excited that it's going to be out there as a balance in
Yeah,
this universe, you know.
that's so beautiful. Thank you for your expression. I really appreciate you and just what you're explaining verbally. And I can even feel the energy. It's so nurturing. So again, I thank you for being a part of this process. It's such an honor to have you here. And you guys have to check
Thank
out the
you.
chapter. Um,
Yeah.
what did it feel like working with Radhaa Publishing House? How supported did you feel to bring this vision to
Mhm.
life? And do you, what would you say the experience has been like as a collaborative rather than solo?
Yeah, I mean it's been very nurturing every step of the way. Whoops. I feel like I had no idea what I was getting into. I've never done anything like this before. I have peer-reviewed journal submissions that I did years ago, but I have not put myself out there in this format before. And um, it's been lovely because I don't feel like I've been stumbling at all. I feel like I've been like someone has held me, like the group, the whole, company has been holding me through this process, guiding me, coaching me, and it's been so easy. It's been really easy, which is a wonderful thing to have right now. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
for those who have yet to, let's say there's a writer inside of someone and they're interested in, connecting with Radhaa Publishing, what would you say to those who are ready or maybe not even ready? Maybe they're, not feeling confident and we've all been there. So what would you say to someone like
Yeah.
that that's looking to get the
Well, yeah, I would say that when I first made the decision, to submit my chapter, it's so many apprehensions. Is this going to be good enough? Is this what they want? And uh I lacked a lot of confidence, and I think that as I received so much positive feedback from everybody there, and in the circle, I just really realize this is a message that needs to get out. And I would hope that anybody else who has a story to tell that's really important, and empowering to other men and women, um, that they recognize that we all have fears and we all have hesitations, and you know maybe just continue to put yourself out there.
yeah, I love that.
Try it.
Persist. That's
Prove
beautiful.
it. Yeah. Yeah. And just knowing that you're not alone in the process, right? That it is, like you said, a collaborative effort, and you can't go wrong. you know, you can never go wrong by sharing your truth.
That is
So,
true. That is so true. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Well, thank you for being a part of this. And
Yeah.
where can we find you? Do you have
I do. Yeah. So I have a website. It's my first name, last name. So www.dianajyoti.com. And I offer a lot of life coaching sessions on a variety of topics, from nursing to relationships to parenting. I also manage and own a community home of right now 9 people. And so I've learned a lot through that experience. I do women's circles. So, if anyone wants to tap me up for resources and knowledge and wisdom and information, I'm so ready. I'm so ready to serve. I'm in this place of really acknowledging that I have a lot of wisdom to share, and I'm ready to share that for those who are interested and ready. I also do energy sessions with people using a conglomerate of different tools and methodologies that I've picked up, but mostly intuition as well. So.
That's so beautiful. You're so dynamic. I love the women in this book. We have so many different,
Yeah.
things that they're skilled at, and that's what makes them such a strong frequency to help bring in this energy to rise in humanity. So I want to thank you so much for your time today. And of course, we'll be sure to link all the information down below, as well as all the information with Radhaa Publishing House. And our book will be released pre-sale March 23rd. So be on the lookout for that. And I once again thank you, and until next
Thank
time.
you so much, Danielle. This was a wonderful opportunity. I appreciate you so much and all the work that you've been doing. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Bye for now, guys.